All right. What do you want to start with, sweetheart?
Ooh. Want to start with All-Star Weekend? No, something else?
No, I'm fine. It's just it was another flop.
Yeah.
They somehow made it worse than last year.
Yeah.
I don't know. The one-on-one tournament. Apparently, they're seriously considering that for next year.
They should be.
I don't know. There's no pride. The All-Stars have no pride anymore. None of them want to try. Like, they're pulling half-court uncontested shots, and it's like, I don't want to see this.
Yeah. It's pretty silly. It's kind of the problem with the All-Star game now, I think, is it's super gimmicky. Like, you got Kevin Hart out there, and you got Mr. Beast. I didn't mind the Mr. Beast thing, like, when I was watching it. Mm-hmm. I really didn't, but it says a lot about the All-Star game if you have 30 minutes of gameplay and it's a 3-hour broadcast.
Yeah, the whole thing was silly. I mean, the dunk competition looks like it might be getting better next year if all those people like Giannis,
I've heard that before,
and Aaron Gordon actually compete, but like,
I don't think they will.
I don't think they will. I'll see it. I'll believe it when I see it.
People really like the tournament format.
They really I was optimistic going into it, but nobody tried. I thought I didn't realize they're just games to 40 either, which is kind of boring because that took like 15 minutes because no one was playing defense.
Yeah, it's too low of a target score. Yeah. Like you said, 1v1 tournament.
I think they gave them money this year too, and even that
they did.
They might have. I could be wrong.
I don't know.
I mean, they have all the money in the world.
Yeah.
Unless you're like on a rookie deal, so it doesn't do anything for you.
Yeah. Are we mad about LeBron announcing late that he's not going to play?
I highly suspect the league encouraged him to wait to say that because more people would have tuned in with LeBron. If LeBron didn't play, even less viewers would have watched, and I think they intentionally made that last minute.
So you think he took the heat, essentially? Like, they were like, yeah, you're going to get dragged through the mud for not playing, but we need you to just announce it late so we can get as many viewers as possible. You think that's what happened?
I'd like to think that my king wouldn't do that, but
yeah, I don't know. I hope that's what happened. But if he just decided to announce late,
because it wasn't like he was doing anything all week. Like, I feel like he would have known.
Based on the information we were given, LeBron announced it late. That's what we were told. However, if what you're saying is true, it would mean that essentially LeBron was a good company man. He took one for the team.
Yeah, I mean,
it would change the entire narrative around him not playing, I think.
Yeah, I don't know.
You'll never know.
It's something to speculate on, but there's no definitive answer. I don't know what they can do to fix it next year other than the one-on-one tournament.
They should make it mandatory. I wrote that down in my notes. They should make a mandatory 1v1 tournament for everyone who's playing in the All-Star game.
Yeah.
Replace it with the Rising Stars.
And people that way people would be afraid to get embarrassed. Like,
yeah.
There's way too much pride in the individual in today's game, and I think that you could capitalize on it with that. Some people like threw out the idea of similar to the NHL of like USA versus the world or USA versus Canada, France, and the world. I don't know. I mean, the idea sounds cool, but like I think Kevin Durant said, you guys just got that last summer. Like, I think part of the reason it was so big with the NHL was it's been since I think 2014 or 2016 since they last played internationally because they weren't allowing their players to play in the Olympics. They might have had a Hockey World Cup, but that's it. And I don't know why they would try in this international format when they wouldn't try in a regular format. And I think it also kind of mess up the All-Stars because then you'd only get 10, 15 Americans maybe. And then you'd have like Dennis Schroeder playing in the Olympics. I mean, not the Olympics, the All-Star game. And
maybe.
Yeah.
We might have enough.
Like
Franz Wagner would have made it if he stayed healthy.
Yeah, but like it depends the format. If you do USA versus the world or 4 teams, like regardless, I don't think there's enough unless you did versus the world. I don't think there's enough players to field a competitive team to play USA. If you did versus the world, it would be very competitive.
Yeah, that's what I meant. USA versus world.
Yeah, that could be good, but I don't know how much pride the world would have because they're not really playing for a country. They're just playing to take down the USA.
I wrote that down too. Like, I think it's worth a shot if you know you have enough players to field the team. Simply because it might add more pride to the All-Star game.
Yeah.
But the reason why 4Nations worked this year, I read an article. I'm not knowledgeable on the subject of that or hockey in general, to be honest. But from what I read, the reason why it worked was because they were sort of leveraging national pride. And essentially, like, it was like you're defending your country in a sense. And obviously, we had the very popular 4 fights breakout thing in the first however many minutes.
3 fights in 9 seconds.
Yeah, like, that's ridiculous. And that's, like, I think we could get there if we did a tournament style thing where we had everybody from different countries. But like you said, that's not eligible. I don't think USA versus World would give it the pop that the All-Star game needs.
Yeah, I don't know. There's no way to force the players to try it. And that what PK Subban said the other day, which the NHL has an advantage. Like, you can't really half try in hockey the same way you can in basketball. Really, like,
that's true too.
It's not really the same, especially because you have goalies and the style of game and stuff like that. I think I don't blame the league as much as I blame the stars.
I agree with that.
There's no pride. Nobody cares, and if the best players don't care, the younger players don't care, and I think it really sits on LeBron, KD, and Steph to go out there and try their hardest. And I think Haslam was saying if like KD was going at Brown and Brown was going at KD, like people would like everyone around them would immediately start trying. But
I think so too. I don't know. It's tough because would that make Jokic start trying? You think?
I don't know.
Or Luka?
Jokic seems very inconvenienced by the All-Star game every year.
Yeah, he just wants to go home. Like even a guy like Luka. Like, I heard about something today with Luka. They said that the injury was fake. The Dallas Mavericks faked an injury, and it was all like to get him conditioned. Like, they said use the time for conditioning, and he just didn't.
Yeah, I mean that doesn't surprise me.
Anyway, if you got guys like that playing next to you, I don't think they give a shit if LeBron and KD are going at each other.
Yeah.
For being honest, there might not be a way to fix the All-Star game, but there's definitely ways to fix All-Star weekend.
Yeah, I think the 1v1 thing would be the biggest draw ever. I mean, I don't know if you split it up into size brackets to try to make it more even, but I mean, it'd be really cool to see a guy like Kyrie go 1-on-1 with Wemby.
Yeah, I agree. We got a little taste of that. The All-Star game I'm talking about. You see that clip?
Yeah, I saw the clip.
Where he shook him up. Apparently, Kyrie beats everybody in 1v1s.
Yeah, apparently he beat the entire Mavericks team in the offseason.
Yeah, and apparently, like, at the USA scrimmages, like, I guess this is back in the day, he used to beat everybody. Yeah. And, like, apparently he played KD a couple times, and he beat KD a couple times.
It'd be cool to see some of these two-way players playing it as well.
For sure.
And see how much that matters in a 1v1.
I think less than we think.
Yeah.
I think less than we think.
I think so too, but it'd be cool to see.
It would be awesome to see. 1v1 tournament would be really good for the NBA, I think.
Yeah. And, like, even if, like, you're playing to 11 and someone goes down 6-0, like, I don't think they'd, like, stop trying either, because I think they'd have too much pride to lose 11-0.
Yeah. See, that's the thing. With other sports, you can probably bank on national. I think the move here is to bank on personal pride.
Yeah.
Try to leverage that and make it mandatory so you have to participate. So, like, even if you're not trying, you're still getting embarrassed. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And at the end, you crown somebody 1v1 champion.
Yeah.
And then that'd be great, I think, for basketball.
Yeah. I don't know if you can replace the All-Star. You think you can replace
Rising Stars game, I said.
Yeah.
And you can't replace the All-Star game with that.
That's a lot of basketball for people, though. Like,
yeah,
these people weren't even trying in 30 minutes of play.
I mean, not Rising Stars, the skills challenge.
Oh, skills competition. Yeah. Yeah, I think it'd be cool to try to get some more WNBA players in there for
sure
3-point competitions and stuff like that. I don't know how willing they are to
what
participate.
Do you mean stuff like that? It's just a 3-point competition.
Yeah.
Maybe what did they do? The skills challenge?
Yeah. Were they in it one year?
I don't know. No one watched the skills challenge.
I don't know. I don't know how. I think they tried to do that. I think They asked Caitlin Clark to do it. She said no. I'll do it when it's in
Oh
Indianapolis.
yeah. I
And
remember
it
that.
was in Indianapolis last year, so that could be 10 years.
Yeah.
But
yeah, Stephen A. really liked that. She's defending the WNBA or something.
yeah, I mean, you you have a lot to win, but also a lot to lose.
True.
And yeah, I don't blame her for not participating. I mean, I thought the excuse was a little weak. Like when it comes to my city, like
yeah.
I mean, if it like it'd be one thing if it hadn't been Indianapolis before, but it was in Indianapolis last year, so it's like
Yeah.
so you're essentially just saying no for the very foreseeable future. Yeah.
That is true. I think that's enough from the All-Star game. Nobody really cared about it anyway.
Yeah.
You want to talk about 4 Nations for a bit, since we were just kind of.
Yeah, I mean, it was obviously a huge hit in the NHL.
Great for hockey.
Yeah, it pulled in more viewers than I don't know if it's 6 of the last 7 Stanley Cups or 6 of the last Stanley Cup games, but I mean, I'd be on TikTok and Instagram and I see people who like they don't even watch hockey or getting into this, and it's very marketable. Um, I mean, it's probably huge in Canada because there's not much else going up there. Um, but like the American people are getting into it because now there's some pride that like you got the Tkachuk brothers and stuff like that. They're very marketable. The fighting, the aggression. There's I think 40% more hits in the 4 Nation games than there are in a regular NHL game.
That's absurd.
So it's very physical play. It'd be really cool to see Russia in there because their roster would have stacked up and it would have been like Russia, Canada, USA. Like they could have even had fielded the best team. But I mean, politically speaking, I guess
not
NHL doesn't want to do that.
Yeah, it makes sense.
But like, I mean, is it? It's all run by the NHL, so it's like, is the NHL punishing Russia or are they punishing the Russian players?
The Russian players.
Yeah, and it's not like they're the ones invading Ukraine.
Yeah, that's true.
But
that's true. But I mean, I think it was. I mean, again, I don't know much about this topic, but I think it's more just like the message it would send.
Yeah, the message it's sending, trying to stay as neutral as possible.
I think it's more an optics thing.
Yeah, no, I agree. I'm just saying it would have been cool to see.
Yeah.
And yeah, but it was very, very successful. I don't know if this is I don't know what their plan is to do this annually, once every few years or what. The Olympics are back next year. Not this coming, or I don't know if it's next winter or the winter after.
I think it's
2026.
So the next winter. No, the winter after. Because it's 2025 now, just from 2020. Oh, wait.
I think it's the beginning of next winter. Yeah,
beginning of next. No.
Yeah, it should be 2026 because they hit summer and winter every 2 years.
Yeah, right.
So it'll be winter 2026.
Yeah. Well, yeah, it will be winter 2026. I'm trying to think like calendar wise.
Yeah, so it'll be like January, February of 2026.
Yeah.
And then NHL's long, the players playing that, and I mean, it's cool and fun to watch. I don't know if you overdo it by doing it every year.
Yeah, you don't want to.
Yeah, but it is really cool and it was a lot of fun to watch.
For sure.
I think next year, since they're gonna have players in the Olympics, I assume they'll probably cut All-Star weekend and do a break for the Olympics.
Yeah, that's what they normally do, right?
I don't know. They haven't done it since 2014. I'd have to go back and look. They haven't allowed NHLers in the Olympics since then.
Gotcha.
But yeah, huge hit. Game on Thursday night. Should be a lot of fun.
Yeah, tomorrow when we're recording this. You have any predictions for the game?
I don't know. There's a lot of players' health that's up in the air, and I need to see the final injury report. Canada's a lot hungrier, and USA just lost, but they're hurt. And if USA is healthy, I kind of like them in Boston, but I guess we'll see. But yeah, I really like it because it kind of brought bad blood back to sports and rivalry and aggression. Like even the NFL seems like it's lacking that these days, of just like pure aggression and rivalry, of people disliking people and everything they stand for.
I agree.
And the fans being in it and stuff like that.
I think it's definitely lacking across all 4 major sports compared to what it used to be.
Yeah, but I think that's also just because of like AAU and youth programs and everyone knows each other.
And all that. Yeah, modern technology.
Which I mean, it's great for elevating the skill, but
Mm.
kind of takes away
The real intensity.
yeah, 'cause everybody's
Because you
friends with
can't really hate
everybody.
somebody if, like,
I think that's part of the issue the NBA All Star Game might have a little bit. Is I mean,
I don't know, maybe.
yeah, everyone's just friends nowadays,
Everyone's just friends nowadays.
which is good for them, good for the players. But
Yeah, I don't know if it's good for the players. I think that animosity takes out a certain killer edge that
yeah, no,
people
I
are really
agree.
missing.
I mean, maybe not as good from a competition standpoint, but I'm sure they rather have friends than enemies.
Probably,
Yeah,
probably. But they don't know any better. They don't know that
yeah,
they'd rather have enemies than friends. Like
yeah,
Jordan had a lot of enemies, and they all want to be Jordan.
yeah,
So maybe they'd actually want the alternative if they knew what it could mean for their careers.
yeah.
Yeah, that's all I got on for it. You want to talk any more about it?
No, I'm alright.
All right, what do you want to do next? Super Bowl champions, NBA champions. We could do Richie Incognito. We could do the Jets. Yeah, that's what we got. Or biggest story, sports. Our favorite sports stories ever. Actually, my favorite because I didn't do best sports stories ever because
yeah,
like you can't really
yeah. What are
quantify
your
that.
favorite sports stories?
All right, I ranked them. I said for 5 I had the '07 Giants.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Obviously a great run. They beat Tom Brady in the Super Bowl. That's what it's most famous for. But I had to look back at it. They beat John Gruden and the Bucks 4 straight road games. Beat Romo and T.O. and Witten on that Cowboys team, and they also beat Brett Favre and Mike McCarthy. So
Yeah.
also just a
Were
legendary
they
like
9-7
NFL.
or 8-8?
I think they were 9-7.
Yeah, I think they were 9-7 that year and eight
Yeah,
and eight the second time.
yeah.
But
So
and then they went on to beat the undefeated Patriots.
undefeated. That's the big banner,
Yeah,
obviously.
but crazy road to get there, all in all road games, which is cool.
Yeah. It was super interesting. So yeah, I put '07 Giants at 5. 4 I had you're not gonna Holly Holm versus Ronda Rousey. You know who Ronda Rousey is?
Yeah, the fighter.
Yeah. Okay. So Rousey was like at the peak of her powers, right?
Mm-hmm.
She was I think 12-0. She I think her seventh title defense, or I think she had 7 title defenses. That she was going for 8, or she had 6 and she was going for 7. And she was a huge betting favorite. It was like Holly Holm was a good fighter, but there was not a
Mm-hmm.
likely possibility that Rousey would lose. People thought she was invincible. Joe Rogan actually said that she thought he could beat some of the male bantamweights in the UFC, which was a wild take even at the time. And Holly Holm went out there and dominated her and knocked her out with a head kick in the second round, and it was one of the most shocking sports moments of that year at the time. So I got to go with Rousey, especially because the impact it had on Ronda Rousey. She was never the same afterwards. She fought one more time after that and lost, and then essentially she retired, came back a year later, fought again against Amanda Nunes and lost, and then it was just like she was gone. It was insane. It was like she was such a great fighter, and she lost that fight. She could never handle it in the media. She went on like Ellen and like bitched about it. It was insane. It
Really?
was a crazy time to be alive. But yeah, that's who I had for 4. 3 I had the '69 Mets. Had to do some research on that one too. They hadn't had a winning season up until that point. They won 100 games, which was shocking. Tom Seaver is one of my favorite Mets players of all time, so
Yeah.
that was cool too. And yeah, I mean they're the Miracle Mets. I don't think I need much explanation, but yeah, I had him at 3. 2, I had Buster Douglas versus Mike Tyson. Um, that one was insane. Again, I didn't see it, but Mike Tyson was like 37-0 or something like that. He was seen as like unbreakable, Iron Mike in his prime. And I think what I really liked about that one was the story behind it, because Buster Douglas, his mom died 3 weeks before, and he promised her that he was going to beat him. And I mean, like that's cool in sports, but like especially in fighting when it's just man on man, like there's no team around you, that shit is borderline impossible. Like you're not just going to beat somebody just because you want to. But he came out there. Tyson took him. He took him. He thought he was light work, and he got his shit rocked. And Tyson disputed the fight, but at the end of the day, the commission they decided Buster Douglas won it. And he didn't have a great career after that, and he didn't have an amazing career before that. But I'm really happy they got to hold that belt over Iron Mike. So yeah, I had But plus 42 to 1 odds, which is insane. And number one, you probably guessed. Can you guess?
The 69 Jets.
Yeah, 63. Yeah, Jets in Super Bowl 3, beating the Colts. AFC or AFL was considered the much superior league. The the Jets were like they were.
You mean NFL?
Oh, I mean NFL. Yeah, NFL was considered a much superior league. This was, I think, 2 years before or a year before the merger, and NFL was considered the better league. They had the Colts, who were led by Don Shula, one of the greatest coaches of all time. They had an MVP quarterback. I forget his name.
Wasn't Unitas, was it?
No, it wasn't Unitas. He was a backup, but they had somebody. Maybe I wrote it in here somewhere. Earl Morrall, MVP. So, but anyway, yeah.
AFL MVP.
What? NFL
AFL?
MVP? AFL? No, NFL MVP.
NFL, yeah, the Colts.
But yeah. Obviously I think I have the 19.5 point underdog, 19.5 point underdogs, biggest upset in Super Bowl history, and you got the name as promise, guaranteeing a win and delivering it. Obviously, it's my favorite team in sports, and it's their only Super Bowl, so I hold it very close to my heart.
Yeah, no, when you don't have much championships to hold on to, you got to look 50 years in the past.
You have none. No Super Bowls. Am I right or wrong? Okay, buddy. Thoughts? You got any?
No, I mean, I don't know much about the storyline of most of those.
Yeah.
I mean, some people consider the Jets Super Bowl the greatest upset in football history, or at least professional football history. I'm more of an 07 Giants guy myself, but yeah, I mean, I guess it's cool. I don't know much about it. I don't know. I know Don Hudson. I know Joe Namath.
Yeah.
I don't know a ton of the other players in that game.
Okay.
I don't know the Jets' record. I don't know any. I don't know the story behind it, but I know it's an incredible upset and what it meant for the AFL.
Yeah.
Yeah. The fighting ones, they all sound cool. You told me some of them, but I don't know all of the details around them.
Yeah.
But I mean, with the sports stories I love the 04 Red Sox.
Yeah.
As a sports story, coming back from down 3-0 against the Yankees, winning their first World Series since I think 1912 or something.
Something ridiculous like that.
Yeah. They just missed out on Jeter, and then the trade got vetoed by the Players Association, and this Yankees team, people thought the Red Sox would never beat them. I think they lost them 2 or 3 times in the postseason in years prior, and the people just gave up hope. I guess the closest thing you can compare it to in today's era was like the Bills Chiefs. They're down 3-0, and yeah, they came on. The Yankees had the more expensive roster. They came back, won the series, won the World Series against the Cardinals. That was a great sports story. Love the 1980 U.S. hockey team.
Yeah.
Of upsetting the Russians. The Russians, I think the year before, they played the NHL All-Stars in Madison Square Garden and won. And yeah, this USA team, they were hopefuls to play in a medal game. And this Russia team was considered the number 1 team in the world, and the number 2 team in the world was the Czech Republic.
Mm-hmm.
And U.S. beat them as well. I don't even think it was close. I think they beat the Czech Republic 7-3. But yeah, the USA team, no NHLers, all college kids. Most of them weren't even drafted in the NHL. Spent 3 or 4 years in college. They finished that game. A few of them had short stints in the NHL, but most of them had just became motivational speakers and wrote off that story for the rest of their life.
That's absurd.
Yeah, because they weren't really good enough to play in the NHL, and they overcome them. They beat Russia beat them 10-3 in an exhibition game before the Olympics, and yeah, some great inspirational stories of the goalie Jim Craig. his mother passed away a few months before the Olympics, and like people were like saying like he's a great goalie, but he's never the same after his mom died, and they didn't think he could ever return to the stage of being the goalie he once was. And Jack O'Callahan coming back from injury and playing in the Russia game, and just so many great stories, great speeches, great upset. I like that one. The '07 Giants I also like. Um, I mean, if we're talking great sports stories, the 2016 Cavs are also up there.
Gotta be up there.
Gotta be up there.
I thought about putting them on here.
But it's like, more of a great comeback than a great story.
That's
but
what I mean.
But the comeback is a great story.
The problem is like I didn't put it on here, but like obviously like if I'm counting that, that's probably number one. Because growing up like a LeBron bandwagon fan and like a fan like the story behind it too, with like LeBron leaving Cleveland, and he was Cleveland's economy essentially. Like they lost a lot of money when he left, like genuinely. And then the whole decision thing, people didn't like that. Yeah. He comes back in his first year, they lose and everyone gets hurt, and then 2016 comes around and down 3-1. No team's ever done it before. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, if you like great stories too, the 28-3 Super Bowl, cheering to Tom Brady and the Patriots and all that. Me personally,
we don't like him. So.
I don't like him. I don't know. Maybe as a pessimist and a Patriots hate watcher, but when I remember watching it and like, I just it felt inevitable after they scored the first touchdown. Like they weren't really running the clock. They did a horrible job managing the clock. They couldn't really move the ball. It just, it wasn't like it was just agony watching. But
that is also a great sports story, though.
Yeah.
That is another great sports story.
The American Underdog is the name of the movie, but the Kurt Warner story.
Oh yeah.
Of him going from bagging groceries to playing arena football, and him being, what was he, like, 29-year-old rookie or something
like that? Yeah. Or 2027 or
something like that.
He's a backup to start.
Yeah, he's a backup to start for the greatest show on turf, and this season was looked like as a complete failure after. I don't even know the starter's name at this point.
Me neither.
I'm sure if I heard it, I'd remember. But he got hurt. They essentially said the season was over. I think Kurt Warner spent some time on the practice squad of the Packers before getting cut in like training camp or something. But came back. He did it. He won. Was it MVP his rookie year?
I think so.
And then won again the year after, or not the year after.
Not his rookie year, but his first year starting, I think.
Yeah, he won 2 MVPs.
Multiple MVPs, yeah. Yeah. 1 Super Bowl or 2 Super Bowls?
1, I believe.
Yeah, insane story.
I think he beat the Titans. I don't know if he beat anyone else. Lost to Thomas Brady and the Patriots, which once again could be viewed as a
another one of the great
story.
Stories, yeah.
You're into that.
Yeah, if you're a Thomas Bradley fan.
But I'm trying to think if there's any others I'm missing. I mean, if we're just talking great sports stories and stories.
I mean, the Cubs. You go with the Cubs.
The Cubs are a great one.
Winning the World Series.
They down 3-1.
Mm-hmm. You go with the Cubbies.
I mean, Scandals has made some great stories too.
Yeah.
You're not just talking inspirational stories. You could talk about what was that minor league hockey team called?
Oh yeah,
the Trashers.
Something like that.
Dansbury Trashers.
Dansbury Trashers, yeah. That insane.
If you haven't seen that documentary, it's a must-watch.
Yeah, that was really entertaining.
Just so many things that didn't seem feasibly true just happened.
That was absurd.
Yeah, it seems like a ironic TV show when you start watching it.
Yeah,
like it's good though. About what would you consider it? Mafia boss's 17-year-old son runs a minor league hockey team.
Yeah, I mean, I don't want to get too much of it, but yeah, a mob boss essentially bought a hockey team, gifted it to his son, and he did about exactly what you think a mob boss's son would do. He started all the fights in the world. He picked up all the players,
the goons,
the castaways who like to start fights. And it honestly though, as a from a business standpoint and a marketing standpoint, he knew what he wanted to be and he
Yeah,
did it well. Like he had a
yeah,
plan.
and he brought in one of Wayne Gretzky's brothers to play for the team. I forget the guy's name. I'd have to look it up. But I'm pretty sure he won an MVP of the Cup with the Devils. And then when the NHL were in lockout, he came and played for this team.
So crazy.
Absolutely absurd. But there's that. Manti Te'o.
Yeah. Well, if we're talking about that, we go Aaron Hernandez too.
Aaron Hernandez, O.J. Simpson.
O.J.
Simpson's stories in sport. I mean, his sports story in its own is actually pretty interesting and all of that.
I thought you were going to say inspiring.
Oh, no. I'd say inspiring if you're not counting the murders. Like the sports part of it. Like from what he came from, what he came in when he came to be the celebrity.
I feel like you say that about a lot of NFL players.
Yeah, but he was one of the most famous athletes in the world at the time.
Yeah, for sure.
But yeah,
not counting
the murder allegations kind of rained on his parade.
They put a damper on it for sure.
Yeah, and it's almost become more. And people talk about OJ. They talk about the murders he's alleged of committing.
You alleged? You don't believe he did it?
I'm just saying he wasn't convicted of it, so I'm not going to call him a murderer. We don't know he was a murderer, and the court says he's not.
We know.
You were there?
I'm pretty sure. I like OJ. I'm happy he got acquitted too, and I think that the charges they eventually stuck him with were bullshit. But he definitely did that shit.
Yeah, I don't think.
I'm happy he got acquitted. He still did that shit.
The charges he got locked up for, he definitely did. Or I mean, like it was some weird technicality, where he's with someone with a gun who's legally allowed to have a gun and trying to get back some of his own merchandise, and they threw the book at him because
he should not have spent as much time in
prison. Some
that.
people believed he committed a murder.
I believe he committed a murder, but
I guess we'll never know.
Yeah, we'll never know. Not for sure.
But rest in peace, I guess.
Rest in peace, or maybe not. But whatever. Yeah. You want to keep on with sports stories, or do you want to do Super Bowl champions and NBA champions?
Well, we're on the topic of sports stories. Shouldn't we dive into Richie Incognito?
Yeah, why not? You want to give a quick background?
Richie Incognito. I don't believe he's an All-Pro, but he's a Pro Bowl lineman. Went to Nebraska, had some troubles in Nebraska, got drafted to the Dolphins, I believe. I'm not sure. Dolphins is his first major stint in the NFL. Played really well with them. The Bullygate scandal happened in 2013, I want to say,
something like that.
Give or take a year. Accused of bullying one of his teammates, Jonathan Martin, calling him racial slurs, homophobic slur, any slur you can think of, really.
Yeah.
Allegedly did some other petty stuff. Reggie said it wasn't true. A major investigation was launched. Jonathan Martin, I believe, had to see years of mental health counseling.
Some with the team.
Which I don't think was in response to the bullying, but I don't know. Quit football. Richie Incognito got suspended 8 games and then was essentially blackballed for a year. The Bills picked him up. He played well in Buffalo. And then he went to the Raiders at some point. I don't know if he...
I think directly after that he went.
Raiders. I don't know if he played anywhere else after that.
I don't think so.
But yeah, and then recently, this week, Richie Incognito had some other scandals. Like, I think he got I'd have to be fact-checked on it, but I'm pretty sure at his father's funeral, he demanded his father's head and had a bit of a crash out over not getting that.
CTE is a hell of a drug.
Yeah, and then I think he threw a dumbbell at someone in the gym because they had AirPods in and he thought they were at the FBI or something. I'd have to have these stories double-checked, but
CTE is a hell of a drug.
He had some other issues with fighting or drunk driving or something like that at Nebraska in college. But yeah, anyways, Jonathan Martin came out this week, said the story wasn't true. Richie Incognito was a good friend of his, and he just wanted a way out of football, and he used Richie Incognito as the scapegoat, and said he essentially made the whole story up. It was all fabricated, and that Richie Incognito was even one of his best friends while playing. And this obviously sucks for Richie Incognito because he essentially lost out on like $5 to $10 million from the year and a half he was supposed to play. His, he says his reputation was destroyed, and it definitely hurt his reputation. It went from bad to worse with that, obviously.
Yeah.
But yeah, I feel bad for him.
I don't.
In that very specific sense that the whole thing was made up.
I don't feel bad for him.
I mean, he's done a lot of other questionable things. I wouldn't be surprised if he said all those things and they're friends or whatever. But regardless, I feel bad that he missed out on $10 million for a false scandal.
I don't think it was false.
You think he's just going back on it now?
I don't think. I think maybe what's Martin? Something Martin? Jonathan Martin. I think he believes maybe now that he wasn't bullied.
Yeah.
But I don't think that necessarily means he wasn't bullied.
Yeah. No, I mean it's a fine line and I guess a blurry line on what you can consider bullying, like what,
especially
like,
in the NFL,
just friendly banter,
and in locker rooms.
Yeah, but like I mean, Richie
Incognito.
I don't know if you've looked at his Twitter recently, but he's been taking his victory laps.
He's time.
He's acting like he won a Super Bowl, but he's been posting a bunch of pictures of the guys out together, saying like blah blah blah, like pictures of them like with their arms around each other in the club, smiling in cars together. They look like they hung out a lot. Maybe like I'm not saying this doesn't mean he was being bullied, but with these pictures, it looks like they could have been friends, and what Jonathan Martin is now saying is true.
Yeah, I think they probably were friends.
I'd be curious to see if there's any comments from any of the former offensive linemen in Miami or any player in Miami at the time who witnessed it. Because yeah, I don't know the details, but my guess is the NFL must have, if they conducted an investigation and found
the Dolphins conducted an investigation and the NFL conducted an investigation.
And if he got suspended, there must have been more proof than a he said kind of thing.
He was one of their best players, and they suspended him for the rest of the season.
Yeah, so I'm saying
there's mountains of evidence.
Yeah.
Like there's there's text messages between Martin and his parents. There's text messages between Martin and the team doctors. There's text messages between Richie Incognito and like the Pouncey twins and like
Pouncey twins.
Yeah. And other people who are like destroy the fine book, like we're gonna get in a lot of trouble if this ever comes out. And she like there's tons of evidence of Richie Incognito. Maybe bullying isn't the right word here, but at least not conducting himself like a professional. And the reason I don't feel bad for Richie Incognito is because if you don't conduct yourself like a professional, don't be surprised if you don't get treated like a professional.
Yeah, well that and you say ridiculous stuff as a joke or not, you're liable for your actions.
That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, no, I agree with you on that standpoint. I'd be curious about what the Pouncey twins' role was in all this. Or was there just one Pouncey on the team?
I think there was just one Pouncey in it.
We know a good amount about the Pounceys and their character. And this seems like something they'd be all four chiming in on.
I'm sure they played their own part. We don't know, but I'm sure they played their own part, knowing who they are and what they're about. But yeah, I mean, I don't know. I don't feel bad for Richie Incognito.
I feel bad, I guess, if the whole thing's completely false.
I don't think that's possible.
I don't think it is, though. Yeah,
I don't think you can fabricate all those very real text messages. That very real fine book that they found, where they were like, I think there was in it like fine, like. They were fining him for like acting like a F slur, and other things like that. Like they found the fine book. There was like evidence of them at least not conducting themselves like professionals.
Yeah,
and it's sports. I get it. Like I get it.
Was it just Richie Incognito? Because it seems like you did your research on it
a little bit.
Was it just Richie Incognito? Or is he like the ringleader of
From what I've seen, it was mostly Richie, but there was other people like this. Like one of the Pounceys, whichever one was on the team, got Marquise or what's the other Marcus? Whatever. Whichever Pouncey was on the team, it sounded like he was involved. It sounded like I don't think he was the only person that was picking.
No, like they typically need an audience.
Yeah, for sure. They would find him for like stupid shit. Like I'm sorry, like I feel bad. I don't feel bad for him actually. I don't feel bad for him at all. Not even to an extent. Because if you act like it if you act like a bully, don't be surprised when people think that you're a bully, even
Yeah.
if you're not a bully.
Yeah.
If you have all this evidence pointing to you, no one could come up with 140 pages of a lawsuit saying I bullied them. You
Yeah.
know
No.
why? Because I've never done that.
Yeah. Well, regardless of that, too, if you are one of the best players on the Dolphins, you should be a leader, and
Yeah.
you should be bringing people together and encouraging people.
Especially
And
a rookie.
yeah, I mean, if it's a joke, it's a joke. But even if it was a joke, it got out of hand and went too far.
I think so.
I'm confused on. I mean, the thing that's interesting is seeing other people's responses to this happening. I saw Eric Wood comment on it. If you know who he is, he's the Bills center for a while. He played alongside Richie Incognito, and he tweeted something like, "I'm finally glad the truth came out. Like my brother's name has been cleared.
That is odd.
Still, it's too little, too late." And he's a credible source. He's done podcasts with Fitzy and Andrew Whitworth.
Mm-hmm.
But like, yeah, so like, he's a credible person. He's backing Richie up, and whatnot, and saying it's like, I'm glad it's finally happening. But I think when Richie was on the Bills, he had another scandal where he allegedly was calling people he's blocking the N word. His teammates defended him and said that didn't happen.
Okay. Yeah, I don't know. I mean,
he opened himself up to a liability and he got burnt.
Yeah.
Bare minimum.
I mean, it's football. These are rough. This is a rough sport played by rough people.
Yeah.
So I understand that there's some sort of there's a spectrum here. Like I'm sure there's people who have played an entire Hall of Fame career and been like kind of assholes. Like maybe a bit above the line, but
Mark Gastineau.
Yeah, I mean, he's not a Hall of Famer, but yeah, Mark Gastineau.
He thinks he should be.
He does think he should be. He's still waiting on getting that sack back. But look, there's people who have played an entire Hall of Fame career. I'm sure that have been on the level as Richie Incognito, but I'm not mad you got caught for doing stupid shit. Like you get none of my tears for that.
Yeah.
If you didn't want to end up in this situation, you should have thought about that when you were doing these things.
Yeah, no, I agree with you. He's facing the consequences of his actions. Do you want to pivot into the Jets now that we're talking about football?
Yeah, let's take a beat. What do I have on the Jets? Probably not much.
Jets. There's been rumors of them linked to almost every potential quarterback under the sun. Is Aaron Rodgers still technically on the team?
I think so, yes. But we announced that we were going to move on.
Yeah, I'd be shocked if he's on the team next year. And it sounds they also boosted the cap room by $20 million, which should allow them to move on from him easier. It'll be interesting to see how guys like DJ Reed and Garrett Wilson respond, obviously. But I've seen apparently there's the booster in Miami who feels confident that the Jets are going to trade up and go for Ward. I've heard that Woody Smith really likes Shedeur. I heard that they're willing to take Jackson Dart at 7. Are you at?
Yeah, we're at 7.
7. I heard Justin Fields. I heard Sam Darnold. I heard Matt Stat. Like I've heard every quarterback under the sun.
Yeah.
Where do you think you should go as a Jets fan?
I think we got to go rookie. You think
you trade up?
I think we trade up.
Think you trade up?
Mm-hmm. I think we trade up into the top 4 and take our chances.
They're still available at 4?
Yeah, because I don't think. Yeah,
it sounds like Cleveland's not Cleveland. Tennessee's open to moving out of 1.
It does, and that movement might cost some space at the top.
I don't think anyone's gonna move up for Hunter or Carter or whoever, because I just
the Browns have the number 2 overall pick, right?
Yeah. I don't think someone would trade their
Shedeur wouldn't play for the Browns.
Yeah. I don't know, maybe he will,
I don't think he would.
I'm just saying I don't think someone would trade up. Mostly it costs a ton.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's a weaker class for quarterbacks than normal. But even then I don't think someone would give up their future unless they're going for a quarterback.
Yeah.
And I mean, I think Shedeur is probably more pro ready than Cam. I think Cam is has a slightly higher ceiling. But yeah, we'll dive into the prospects a little later. But let's get back to the Jets.
We can do mock drafts at another time. But yeah, I agree. Accuracy translates better to the NFL generally.
Mm-hmm.
I think Cam Ward's a bit more of a project. There's some concerns about his footwork
Yeah.
and
Decision
his
making.
mechanics overall and his decision making. Yeah. So all that's there. I agree with that. I think I'd be happier with Cam Ward or Shedeur though than any free agent, including guys like Justin Fields and
Would you be opposed to
Derek Carr.
both bringing in? Derek Carr's not a free agent, so I can't
Okay, not
imagine
Derek. Is it Sam
any
Darnold
good
or
reason to go out and try to target Derek Carr through trade.
yeah?
Um,
A Sam Darnold reunion would simply just be interesting because of Aaron Glenn. It would
yeah,
simply be interesting because Aaron Glenn was the defensive coordinator. He was not running the offense.
yeah.
But, I mean, he saw that guy every day in practice, right? He literally game planned against what he was weaker at and saw what he was better at. So if anybody could bring in somebody who could construct an offense around Sam Darnold, could give insight and help in that way, it would be Aaron Glenn. So as far as free agents go, that's the only really I'm open to. He tried the old quarterback thing already.
Yeah.
You can miss me with Matthew Stafford. He's incredibly
Yeah.
talented, even now. I don't want it. I'm good.
He's good, and he's probably a slight upgrade from Aaron Rodgers, but very, very.
No, I don't think so. I think
he's a decent upgrade, but like, I don't think he's going to transform you from what were you 5-win team?
Yeah.
To a 10 or 11 win team.
And I don't think Darnold would either, but he showed flashes. I think if for whatever reason trading up is too costly, I'm not crying because we got Darnold. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. But
it depends
ideally,
what kind of money you'd give him to.
Yeah, true.
I think he's probably looking at 90 over 3 if I had to guess.
Probably a Baker Mayfield type deal.
Yeah, I think he got 100 over 3.
Which again, I wouldn't be crying about. Like that's not super expensive for a quarterback.
Yeah, but $30 million is $30 million.
No, for sure it is. But he just went for 30 touchdowns, 10 receptions. I can get excited about that. I can get there. I prefer a rookie quarterback because there's more upside. And we have a rookie coach, and it's nice to bring in the rookie coach, rookie GM, and rookie quarterback in at the same time for a complete clean slate, fresh start, no expectations. Let's just try this all again.
Would you be opposed to bringing in a guy like, Stafford seems like it costs too much, but let's say Justin Fields to have someone for Shedeur to sit behind or Cam Ward to sit behind to go in when they're ready so they're not getting forced into a situation and getting Sam Darnold?
Yes. I would be opposed to
using Sam Darnold as a verb.
I'd be opposed to that. I'd be opposed to Justin Fields specifically coming in and a quarterback sitting and learning behind Justin Fields.
Russell Wilson? In today's world, ideally you'd like to have a quarterback, especially with a franchise that has a reputation of throwing rookies in too soon and quote unquote ruining them. I'm not saying this is a great option, but I think it'd be ideal.
When has that worked recently?
Where a guy sat behind it. Patrick Mahomes, obviously the best example.
2018. But
they
were at what, a 10-win team before he got there?
Yeah, they tried it with Kirk Cousins this year.
Didn't really work.
It didn't work from Kirk Cousins' standpoint.
What did Penix
it helped Penix. I don't know.
Maybe, but you know what I mean?
Yeah.
If I'm gonna go in there and throw a season away and then see the rookie quarterback turn out to be bad, we could have. Peyton Manning is a notable guy for being somewhat against rookie sitting. Yeah. He's saying, "Do what I did. Throw him out there. Let him make mistakes, and we'll learn on the fly." Yeah. Because truthfully speaking, we all love the idea of a quarterback sitting behind a guy, but it really hasn't paid dividends since Lamar Jackson. We really have no evidence that it works in the past 5 years, and the NFL has changed a good deal since then.
And then also, we saw Daniels, we saw Stroud go in day one and look phenomenal. Yeah. Uh-huh. The Bills tried to do the sit the rookie thing with Josh Allen, but they chose
and maybe they're better off for it.
But it didn't work though because they chose Nathan Peterman and Josh. What do you know? Josh Allen starting the second half of his rookie
debut.
Game.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
I don't know if there's Nathan Peterman is arguably the worst quarterback of all time. If you ask anyone our age who the worst quarterback they ever seen is, I'd say 7 out of 10 of them would say Nathan Peterman. What do you think?
I think a lot would say Zach Wilson.
Huh?
I think a lot would say Zach Wilson.
I don't think Zach Wilson was bad, but Nathan Peterman was
quarterback or starting quarterback because completely different.
Yeah, but, I mean, Nathan Peterman was the day one starter.
The Tim Boyle's pretty bad. Too.
Oh yeah.
I don't know. They're both bad.
You,
Nate Peterman maybe
you
worse.
could throw in Josh
worse.
Dobbs, as much as I love the guy.
Yeah, true.
But
yeah, yeah. I mean, like we love to say that the whole sitting a rookie thing works, but even with Drake May, like, we all love Jacoby. We love Jacoby. Jacoby's great.
Yeah,
but what? Like
Drake May
came in and was better. So did you just waste your time?
Yeah, I mean, the thing is with the Patriots, which was really good. Drake May showed some great promising flashes. His stats are pretty good. Nothing insane, but like everybody feels really good about Drake May. Yeah. They're all saying he's the second or third best quarterback in that class right now.
We all like him.
I mean, he's drafted accordingly, but but now they have a top 4 pick. They have Joe Milton behind him who looks good. So they have a lot of options there, but yeah, I'll be curious to see what they do. But yeah, I mean, I'm not in the quarterback market as a Bills fan, obviously, but yeah, I wouldn't like my team. Say if I was a Jets fan, I definitely wouldn't like any talks of Derek Carr. I'd lose sleep over that.
Yeah, I don't want Derek Carr.
I think anyone would. Yeah, I think people in New Orleans are losing sleep over him. Michael Thomas definitely is.
Derek Carr sucks.
Yeah.
He's very bad at football. I mean,
Sam Darnold. I like Sam Darnold as a person. I like seeing him succeed. I hope he goes somewhere where he can succeed. But I wouldn't want to pay him money. I wouldn't want to pay him anything long term. As happy as I am to see him succeed, I don't trust him still.
Yeah.
He played his way out of
his worst 2 games were his last 2 games.
Yeah,
it's never a good sign.
Which is never a good sign, especially when they're the 2 most important games of your season for the 1 overall seed and the and your playoff game. It was ugly. But I didn't trust him before that. I'm like, it's great. I'm happy to see this guy succeed, but I didn't trust him. I still don't trust him. And I definitely don't trust him on the Jets.
Yeah. Yeah, fair. I mean, I don't know. I think I'm very optimistic about Aaron Glenn and that coaching change. Again, I'm a Jets fan, right? Like, so I'm going to be a little bit biased isn't really the word, but depressingly optimistic, I guess you could say.
Delusional.
Delusional is also a word I'd use.
Yeah.
But like, I mean, if you've ever been a fan of a bad team,
you always think next year's the year.
Yeah, you always think next year's the year, especially when you've given reasons to hope, like Aaron Glenn. Even if it's not many reasons, if you're given a good reason to hope, you'll hope.
No, I mean, I've been in that situation. I remember the Fitzy years. I mean, he was fun, but it was never anything. Like, we never thought we were going anywhere. Drafted E.J. Manuel in the first round. Didn't work out. We got him a weapon in Sammy Watkins, who looked like one of the best college receivers of all time. Was at best a career journeyman.
That's not. Yeah, you couldn't have seen that coming though.
Yeah, but like I thought Kyle Orton bring us to 9-7, a winning record for the first time in like 10 years. Didn't work. Tyrod Taylor brought us to the playoffs, but
I'm just gonna keep hoping till we get that Josh Allen.
Hopefully, it rains in the desert.
Yeah, hopefully eventually the Jets stop jetsing and.
Yeah, and it'll be hard with Woody around.
It will, but I think you can overcome bad ownership.
Yeah, it's
tough.
It's harder versus the hands.
And maybe with this article coming out and Woody sort of
the Madden and Brick Johnson stuff.
Yeah, everyone's seeing that the Emperor has no clothes. Hopefully he decides.
Maybe Brick Johnson goes back to school.
Yeah, maybe.
Maybe he goes into college or something.
Hopefully. So hopefully all that shit. Yeah.
Yeah. But I mean, and another thing in the NFL I'd like to touch on is the Bengals situation. They're saying they
tag T. Higgins.
They tag T. Higgins. If I'm T. Higgins, I'm not playing under a tag for 2 years in a row.
I want to see the Bengals with JaMarr chasing T. Higgins.
I do too.
But he shouldn't play.
No, he should not. He has nothing. I mean, he's really nothing to gain. His values. I mean, his value is an all-time. Yeah, Exactly. He has no guaranteed money. He has no long-term contract. His value is an all-time low for him. All-time low for T. Higgins standards last year.
Yeah.
He came in, played really well. Is back at a high. Ride that high. Get your money. I mean, they're saying they want to keep him, JaMarr, and Hendrickson. I think Joe Burrow is willing to restructure and take a more player-friendly contract or team-friendly contract, but at the end of the day, they're not owned by a billionaire, I believe.
Yeah.
They don't have the money to pay all these guys, which sucks that they're extending the draft cap again because everyone around them is going to keep getting better and they can't really get better. But I know they're owned by the Paul Brown family, I believe.
Yeah, something like that.
Because
the Browns gave them
something
team
like
or something.
yeah,
Gave them the team, something like that. Yeah.
But they don't have the money. The only way they can really get there is by selling to a billionaire, which nobody ever wants to do. People hold on to NFL teams until they die, or until the allegations force them to sell. Shout out Dan Snyder. Who's the Panthers owner too that had to sell?
Oh yeah, he sold to Tepper. Ooh,
I don't
know. Nope, I got it.
I'm sure if I heard the name, but regardless, yeah. But I mean, someone used a great analogy the other day I saw on Twitter, but I can't remember what it was.
For bad ownership?
For the Bengals is like they want to buy candy, but they only have $1 or something. Or they walked into the car dealership with $10 or something.
Yeah, that's about right. It sucks if you draft all these guys.
Yeah,
and you hit all of these guys.
You
and
go
the
to
goal
the
is to
Super
pay them.
Bowl.
You go to the Super Bowl, and the goal is to pay them, and you just can't.
Yeah,
you can't, and it sucks.
And they need to pay JaMarr Chase.
Yeah, like they really.
He is a top 2 receiver.
It almost makes you feel like Joe Burrow shouldn't be playing on the Bengals anymore.
No, he shouldn't, and
it's almost kind of unfair to him.
Yeah,
because like quarterbacks are measured in terms of wins and losses.
Yeah,
and it's really the only position in North American professional team sports really that is like wins are directly tied to your legacy in such an extreme way.
Yeah, like
Tom Brady's a GOAT because of Super Bowl wins.
Patrick Mahomes is viewed as the best quarterback in the league
because of Super Bowl wins. Like that's why.
Allen's big knock is he can't beat Mahomes.
Yeah.
And Lamar's big knock is he can't win in the playoffs.
Which is unfair because it's a 53-man roster, 22 starters.
But
that's what we've always done.
Yeah, and once again, if you look at any particular sport and which position matters the most in a team's outcome, I'd probably put quarterback at 2 behind hockey goalie.
Yeah, that makes sense. I've heard the same thing about hockey goalies.
Yeah, I mean, but that's another sport or position that sucks because you can't win games, you can only lose them. But I mean, quarterback, you can win them. But the trade-off is you make more money than anyone else. You can be below average at your job and get Tua Tagovailoa money.
It's true. The trade-off is you make a lot of money, and we all talk about you a lot. We talk about quarterbacks a lot, so that's the trade-off. But I don't know. It's tough. It's just kind of sad, to be honest.
Yeah, like I want to see Joe Burrow succeed. We know he is the 4th best quarterback in football, arguably higher.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
What kind of quarterback you're into.
Yeah,
but there's nothing that it's not like they financially can't do it, which sucks. Like it's not like they're being stingy with their money. There is no money to give out,
and this is why I'm sort of going all over the place here. But this is why no conversation infuriates me more sometimes than quarterback conversations.
Mm-hmm.
Like even NBA rankings of players. I mean, there's some subjectivity. You can go a lot of places with where you're ranking NBA players. It's not just but with quarterbacks, for a lot of people, it stops at wins and losses. And when it's really not your fault, fault, I get annoyed because you got we got Kojo saying Justin Herbert's better than Joe Burrow, and he's not because the games are on TV.
Oh, I don't understand that argument because Burrow wins more games. I think.
Yeah,
I think Herbert has passing yards and maybe less. I don't. No reason.
But you know what I mean, though.
No reasonable.
You could even a guy like Jaden Daniels, who I love. I don't want to see him being ranked over Joe Burrow next year.
No,
I really don't.
I mean, if he has because Joe Burrow had a phenomenal year.
Yeah, Joe Burrow had a phenomenal year.
There was nothing more you could have asked Joe Burrow to do.
His first year starting, he led his team to the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
And won comeback player of the year. He's his own. Like, I feel like we don't need to. We don't. But people are so quick to jump the gun and look for the next big thing. That's what they did with CJ Stroud too.
The only thing that's 2 years ago, people were calling him the second best quarterback in the league.
Yeah.
And he hasn't done anything but get hurt and play well.
Yeah, he didn't forget to play football.
Yeah, he is that guy.
The only knock on him really is slow starts in the regular season.
Slow starts and health,
and that's and health. Yeah, health.
Yeah,
and the slow starts thing that's a reasonable knock. Like, that's a legitimate knock. Even
yeah.
health. I mean, if you're knocking for that, then you're gonna have to knock Lamar for that too, and Tua. Just so we're all like.
Yeah.
And Lamar's been hurt in a while, but just so we're all. Evened out.
But I mean.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, no, like, they can't control it. It's not something. I mean, maybe Deshaun Watt. That's a different story. But you could be negligent, but with your body.
Yeah.
But I mean, health. You can't knock someone's skill for it. You can knock someone's value.
Yeah,
for it.
I agree with that. I think it's fair. And there was a time where, you still believe Josh Allen's better than Lamar Jackson, and I mean, I'm at the point right now where I don't care. Like, I don't care
until one of them knocks off the Chiefs. It doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter. Like, I'm at the point where, like, I don't care who's better between Lamar. Like, it's a fun conversation. And honestly,
it's a fun conversation. It's what you like more: playoff success, regular season success.
But like, you know what I mean? Like, I don't care. Like, I don't care. I don't care.
I don't care about the fight for two. I care who's at one.
Yeah, and even honestly, Mahomes is tough with Mahomes too, because I mean, I don't know if you want to talk about this, but people were ready to
all-time low. People were ready
to put him in the GOAT conversation.
Yeah,
and I think this is
in
also
1 week he went from GOAT conversation to he might be the sixth best quarterback in the league.
It's insane, and that's what I mean. Like, they're always so quick to look for the next big thing. Like, yeah, Mahomes played horrible, and yeah, this loss was legitimately concerning. Like, if you're a Patrick Mahomes fan and a Chiefs fan, you should be concerned. Not because he's not gonna be a Hall of Famer, not because he's not gonna retire as one of the all-time greats. He already is one of the all-time greats, but because we after last year, we started to be like, Mahomes on the GOAT trajectory. Yeah, that's what we're chasing. That's what his expectations are. Yeah. So if you're a Mahomes fan, you should be worried because that game was very bad.
It was a stinker from him specifically. I'm not ready to dethrone him as the best quarterback in the league because, I mean, the past 2 years, I'd say Allen and Lamar have outplayed him. Maybe even Burrow. You could argue there's been quarterbacks that have outplayed him, but the reason he was one is because he beats these guys in the playoffs and he goes to the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
He did that again, so
why? And also, his receiving core was hurt all year. Yeah. His weapons were at the weakest we've ever seen them. Like, I mean, I'm sorry, but like, I'm not ready to be like.
I'm willing to.
They were 15-2.
I'll knock him in the GOAT debate, but I won't knock him against Allen or Lamar because, like, if we're being honest, if the Bills went to New Orleans and played the Eagles, I think it might have been a little closer, but not a whole lot closer.
Probably not.
If the Ravens might have stood a little better chance, the better run defense, but I don't think Lamar could have.
The run defense wasn't the problem for the Chiefs. That's the thing.
Yeah, I don't.
It really wasn't.
The Chiefs had a better defense than the Bills and the Ravens.
The problem was the Eagles could bring pressure with 4 on every down. Yeah. They stopped Saquon Barkley. They didn't blitz once. The Chiefs stopped Saquon Barkley, and they still won and they still blew him out because at the end of the day, I mean, the Chiefs have a not great O-line. Don't get me wrong, but how much better is the Bills O-line really? Yeah, is it 30 points better? No, are we sure? Like, and on defense too, like. I mean, they did whatever they wanted through the air, essentially. They did whatever they wanted.
Yeah, I mean, the one thing I will say is, I don't know if I said this before the game or after the game, but Mahomes struggles a bit more under pressure than Allen or Lamar.
And the stats back it up.
The stats back it up, and he sometimes creates his own pressure. And that was their Achilles heel, and they lost because the pressures. Allen or Lamar maybe might have had a better statistical game because they're better under pressure.
Yeah.
But
both are better under pressure.
Yeah, the Chiefs had the better defense, and the Chiefs had the better O line.
Then
the Bills had a more complete O line. I don't know about
I don't know
better.
about better, but it wouldn't have made a
wouldn't
big
have made
enough
a difference.
Like
yeah.
they literally got home almost every down against the Chiefs. You get slightly less against the Bills, like it'd still be a problem.
But what I will say for the GOAT conversation, we've now seen 2 blowout losses in the Super Bowl from Patrick Mahomes. And this recent one was ugly. It was a bad game. He didn't. He had 2 touchdowns.
Yeah, in
They're garbage time. Nobody cares. Like I think
one
of them was against
halftime. I think
pick six. A pick six. One of them was against backups. Like I'm not gonna praise you for that. You threw 2 picks. I wouldn't say you lost your team the game, but you stopped your team from winning it.
This is also the trouble too.
I think the pick 6 is kind of the nail in the coffin.
Brady couldn't really lose his teams a game.
No.
He was never the driving force for the first 3 Super Bowls.
Yeah.
So he never really was in a position to lose his team the game.
Yeah.
And the same thing we praise Mahomes for, with being the driving force to his for all of his Super Bowls, essentially, is now the same thing we're knocking him for, essentially, because he had to be aggressive. I mean, I don't like the way the Chiefs gave up on the run. Essentially, they tried it once. They were like, all right, we're done with this.
But their run's been weak all year.
No, I know, but if you're not even a threat to run the ball,
I know. I've watched the Bills Devin Singletary, but like that's the double-edged sword of having a superstar quarterback who can go in and win any game himself.
Yeah.
They are capable of losing any game themselves, and I don't know if he lost his team the game, but he stopped them from winning it. Like,
I don't think he lost his team.
It's hard to even. I mean,
I don't think it would have mattered if he played well.
Yeah,
I genuinely believe
they scored 40 points, but Mahomes did contribute 7.
No, he did.
He threw the pick 6 in the red zone. The
O line is why it wouldn't have mattered if he played well. I don't think it was really. He didn't play great. He made in Mahomes. What was the knock on him coming out of college? It was the footwork, right?
Yeah.
It was the footwork. It was always the footwork. And he drifts in the pocket sometimes. He's looking downfield, looking for the big play.
Steps up when it's not time to step up.
He's just a little bit lackadaisical. He's not technical.
Yeah.
And that hurt him. I agree. I don't think it was a good game by him, but if he played perfect, they probably still lose that game.
Yeah, and the thing, I mean, that's one of the great things about Joe Burrow. Back to him is how great he is. His pocket awareness, his ability to step up, make the quick, accurate throw, not do too much. He might be the best of the league in pure lack of word, just quarterbackiness.
Yeah,
you know,
pocket presence, pocket awareness.
Yeah,
that's 2, 3 out. He doesn't
do anything. He doesn't do anything exceptionally. I mean, he does. He's okay out of the pocket.
If you like traditional,
he's okay off platform, but he's the closest thing to like Tom Brady's play style.
If you like traditional quarterback play mixed with a bit of like new age style, he's your man.
Yeah,
he's got it. In terms of because I'll take off a little bit because I'm a bit more athletic than Tom Brady ever was. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I'm gonna feel when this pressure's up. I'm gonna step up. I'm gonna step out. I'm gonna do what I need to do.
Yeah.
He's under pressure. Burrow's better. Allen's better. Lamar's better.
Yeah, and I don't disagree. The thing with that too is I feel like Lamar and Allen are specifically better when they know there's pressure coming, what the pressure is. I mean, the Bills struggled under pressure a little more against Spagnuolo in that final AFC Championship game. But regardless of checking the ball down, taking what's open, taking the yards they get you, and Mahomes, we've seen him do that, but he's less consistent. I didn't think Allen could do it up until this year, but he did it. He did it well. Lamar's perfect at that. You rarely see Lamar throw a 60-yard bomb and beat you over top. He takes what's open, looks around, does what he needs to get, runs when he needs to run.
Makes his that's why I never liked the receiver separation stat.
Yeah,
because it's too damn noisy. It's not talking about Lamar creating time in the pocket and outside of the pocket for those receivers to get separate. We always say it. You can't guard forever.
Well, no one can guard receivers forever. Are going to be more open when you have a spy. Yeah, and you're dedicating guys to Derrick Henry and there's stuff like that. Mm-hmm. But the way Allen and Mahomes started off is they'll beat you over top. They'll be flashy. They'll have these crazy throws. And Allen's transcended from that a little
So
bit.
is
So is
Mahomes.
Mahomes.
Yeah, they're both past that.
Yeah. We just saw in a more drastic change, like a day and night kind of thing, with Allen and Brady took over.
Yeah.
But with Lamar, like thing about Lamar's play style is like he's flashy, but like he's not a big play guy, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
He'll beat you with 1,000 paper cuts.
Yeah, it's well, that's just I think that's just the Ravens for you.
Yeah.
It's they more like
They wear you down.
They like ball control football. They like to
Yeah.
impose their will on you physically.
Yeah.
They want to dominate you at the line of scrimmage. They want to run the ball on you as much as they can. They want to take up as much as they can off the clock. And Lamar sort of is in this perfect spot where he kind of like flows inside of that. Like he'll do the play action. He'll do the creating plays off scrambles and stuff like that, and he sort of operates within that. But
yeah,
not a big play guy, no.
Yeah, and I mean, in today's game, it's a lot harder to have those big plays, the too high look.
Yeah.
And it's also like we've transcended into a game where turnovers hurt. It feels like, I mean, maybe
Turnovers
not, but
lose.
turnovers
You lose.
hurt you a lot more, and it seemed like they hurt you more and more. And like that was the biggest story of the playoffs.
Yeah.
I think every team that won the turnover battle, with the exception of Bills Chiefs game, the team who won that won the game.
It's because of running the ball and short passing.
Yeah.
Because the league has shifted to that because of the too high look.
Yeah.
And we're still kind of sort of like trying to get back out of that.
Yeah.
Like, and we're transitioning back to
the defenses will adjust and the offense.
Yeah, it's a push and pull thing.
It's a game of cat and mouse, as Tony Romo likes to say.
You know, Jim. Yeah, I mean it goes back and forth.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's if you turn the ball over nowadays, you lose simply because teams like to run the ball more.
Mm-hmm.
They like to short pass more, which means that there's less turnovers. So the ones you do make hurt you. They hurt you a lot.
Yeah.
Like players really aren't throwing like 20 interceptions anymore. Not a lot.
Who led the league in picks this year?
I think the person who led the league in picks had like 16 NFL stat leaders. Maybe I'm wrong, but I feel like interceptions are
Baker?
down.
No, wasn't Burrow. No, was it? No, Levis didn't play enough.
Yeah, it was Kirk with 16. Like those 20 interceptions, it's not what the league is on right now.
When did he get benched?
Oh, he didn't play a lot of games, but he was an outlier. He was a statistical outlier. He was not the norm. He was.
Yeah, I don't know what happened with him. Like they looked like they were making do the first few weeks with him. They beat the Eagles.
Yeah,
I think they beat the Bucks in a shootout. Like they looked like oh, this team could compete. They could low key like make a deep run. And
I don't think I've seen anything like that, to be honest.
And then like one morning he woke up and the H hit him.
I mean, it was always a bit weird because even when he was like with that Monday night game, they were like 500 yards or whatever.
Yeah,
and but like
I think it was Thursday night. The Monday night, someone had to beat the Eagles or Saquon dropped the pass.
And I said it too. I said it. And like I remember you being like, well, he's playing well, and I was like, yeah, he is, but like
he can't move.
like it's cool. Like, and it's I think maybe this is sustainable, maybe, but like he literally is a statue back there. He can't move at all. Like even say what you want about Rodgers, but he had a little bit of escapability left in him for a 40-year-old.
Slightly more mobile as the season moved on.
Well, he got more comfortable with it. Yeah, he did. Yeah. But I mean, he was considerably more mobile than Kirk Cousins.
Yeah, I mean, well, the thing is too, with Rodgers, if you look at the numbers, didn't play that bad. If you look at, I mean, maybe the interceptions a lot of times didn't come at great times.
He didn't. I mean, statistically,
raw
numbers lie. Raw numbers lie.
Yeah, like he didn't play that great.
No,
but there were a lot worse quarterbacks this year.
He wasn't a top 15 quarterback this year. He might not have been top 20.
Was he bottom 10?
No, I mean, because we could like the top 4 were all better, right? Are we counting Tua?
Tua actually played pretty.
I know.
Well.
I mean, are we giving the games he missed? Are we counting him based on the games he missed? Not because he played better. When he was playing, he was better for sure.
Yeah, I don't know.
If we're counting like Tua, CJ Stroud,
but
Love.
Like, the thing, I think Rodgers also gets a lot more hate. People knock his play a lot more
because they don't like him.
Yeah, well, cause off the field stuff, the leadership stuff.
Mm-hmm.
When you're a 2-time MVP, that recently forced his way out of an organization who held the high standards and whatnot. He created more noise than the performance was. And I guess previously he was good enough where people didn't care.
Well, the noise thing is a newer thing.
Yeah, but also
it's really just since COVID.
Yeah. Also, you move from Green Bay to New York. You're gonna get a lot more attention. Yeah, all around disaster. But I wonder. I'm curious to see what happens with him.
Rodgers, it's gonna be interesting.
He should retire and quit while he's somewhat ahead.
He won't go out like that.
He won't. Maybe he can reconcile with an 8-8 season.
I don't know where he goes from here.
I just don't know what would be a good fit for him because could go to the Giants. If you're Brian Dable, I don't know why you risk your career on Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah.
If you're, the Raiders have nothing else. I don't know what his appeal to go there. If it's between the Raiders and retirement,
I'd pick retirement.
Yeah, it'd just be you and Brock Bowers out there.
I'd pick retirement.
You could go to the. I don't know why the Vikings would be in the market for him.
Rodgers and the
Maybe
Raiders
get him cheap.
Weird.
They're saying the Steelers, but
no.
I don't. Maybe Aaron Rodgers is a little better than Russell Wilson.
Tomlin,
if though, is very marginal.
I think that's Tomlin's style.
I don't know what he does, and that'll be interesting to see.
It will be.
Maybe. I don't know what. If you cut him and release him, clears waivers, that'll give him a more appealing contract for teams that want to bring him in. I think it could be interesting for a team like Miami, because if Tua's gonna miss time, you want a high quality backup.
No, I don't like
then
that.
You have a weird quarterback battle.
That's weird. That's he brings too much noise for that to be.
Yeah, I don't know what would be good.
Brian Flores hurt Tua's feelings. You don't think that's gonna bother him?
Yeah, that's true.
No.
Tua's soft.
I don't know. I don't know.
He can't play in the cold. He was sensitive about the things the coach said, so they brought in a nerdy, silly, goofy guy to make him feel confident.
Yeah, you put a couple beers in me, I might agree, but I'm not the kind of guy to. He's a professional football player. Yeah. Soft feels mean, but I don't know. Like I said, Flores hurt his feelings, right?
Yeah.
So I don't think Rodgers would help that situation. And like it or not, you're tied to Tua for the next 4 years and the next $200 million. So it's in your best interest to keep him as happy as reasonably possible.
Unless you have a clear get out plan.
Yeah, and I don't think Rodgers is that.
Yeah.
So yeah,
I think McDaniels goes before Tua does.
Yeah.
This is probably McDaniels' last year to do something.
You think?
Do you think he goes before Tua?
Yeah. But if he goes 10-7 and they lose in the wild card again, what's stopping him from running it back?
Yeah, no, I think I'm saying if he goes 8-9.
And they miss the playoffs?
Wait, what is it? His first year they went 10-7 and lost in the wild card at Buffalo.
If they go 8-9,
last year they lost in the wild card too.
It's reasonable that they might get rid of him, but I don't think they will get rid of him.
The thing is though, they're forever going to be on the road in the playoffs.
Most likely.
Yeah.
Most likely.
If I feel like they've gotten worse over the past few years.
It is tough to see.
This was their year to beat Buffalo. They had Buffalo dead to rights the year before. I'm no longer worried about them as a Bills fan. So if they're on the road, they're going to play in Kansas City, Buffalo, or Baltimore, most likely. Maybe you luck out and get Houston, but didn't Tua embarrass himself against Houston this year?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, so that, and that's your best case scenario. And the thing is, when there are clear statistical evidence to point out that your team and specifically your quarterback underperform and can't win in certain weather situations as mild as below 40 degrees, I don't know where else to look but the coaches.
The coaches?
Yeah, whose job is it to prepare them for those cold weather games? I don't know what you got to do if it's fly to wherever a week early and play outside. Like the player. I mean, the players are the ones performing, but like, whose job is it to prepare the players?
Yeah, I hear that.
Because it's been Buffalo for some time. It was Kansas City last year. They looked ugly against Green Bay this year. They just look like like as soon as Halloween rolls around, people stop talking about the Dolphins.
That's true. Because I was thinking of like other examples of like dome teams and like hot weather teams.
Yeah.
And if they have great coaches, you don't even see the drop off. Like McVay and the Rams. I mean, they were on the road during their Super Bowl run, weren't they?
I don't think so. They had Brady in LA at the end in the NFC Championship, I believe.
Yeah. So no.
Oh no, did they have? They had the 49ers in LA for the championship game. They had Brady in the divisional, so yeah, I think they're home the entire time.
Yeah. So yeah. I don't know. I don't really know.
You haven't really. There's no circumstances I can think that are like this.
Yeah, I can't think of any example like this.
But like, whose job would you say it is to for the players?
Yeah,
to be ready?
from an abject state, like from like a. But like, does that really help? Like, would it really help to get out there a week earlier and like practice with like there? Because I have to imagine that if that's a financial possibility and a practicality possibility,
Yeah.
like if we're thinking about it, these guys must be.
Yeah.
Like, there's no way that that's all it would take. You know, I believe it's probably deeper rooted than that. So I don't know how you fix it. Maybe they're just too comfortable in Miami. Maybe like there's no like I don't know. Like,
Yeah.
Maybe he starts from the top down.
They have some of the best home field advantage in September, probably the best, and maybe all of sports.
Yeah.
Of that sunshine, the architecture of getting the sunshine to nail your opponent's sideline.
Yeah, that is pretty crazy.
But like,
it's great. It's not cheating.
Yeah, it's almost considered unfair. It's almost dangerous to an extent. With heat creating, it's at 120 degrees.
Yeah, with heat.
Making your opponents wear the darker color too. Like it is a great advantage to have.
That's true.
Yeah. I don't know. Maybe like, I mean, people are building domes. The Titans, the Chiefs are looking to build a dome. I think the Browns are looking to build a dome. Yeah. But that's not an answer.
No, it is not. You can't just wait for everybody to build domes.
And at the end of the day, Buffalo's not building a dome, and that's your arch nemesis, and that's been, I don't want to say Achilles' heel because that'd make them sound like they're great outside of everything about Buffalo. They're one of your bullies.
Yeah,
that's a better way to describe it.
I mean, Buffalo was bad. Then maybe we see a Dolphins Super Bowl run. I don't know. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like it is.
But then they have to go to Kansas City, Baltimore, Cincinnati. Like,
true. Well, I mean, maybe they get the 1 seed if Buffalo was bad. You know, like if they were bad. Like
if they were bad, they didn't have to play. Maybe.
You know.
But like, if Tua Tagovailoa plays Patrick Mahomes in the playoffs,
if he's home, well, yeah.
Do you know?
No, I don't know. They're the Dolphins.
They're break dancers.
They are in fact break dancers.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know where you go from there.
Me neither. It's gonna be rough.
They're in an ugly position.
Yeah. There's uglier positions.
There aren't a ton, but there are some.
There are several.
Yeah, but like an aging, expensive.
The New York Giants would like to have a word.
You said Giants or Jets?
Giants. The Jets too, I'm sure. But
yeah, I mean, like
Giants,
not from like an over. Like they have talent, kind of at this point, but you have a very disgruntled locker room, where your best player and your most expensive player doesn't want to be there. You don't really want to move on from him. You aren't good enough to get good. You aren't bad enough to get good picks. You aren't really making the playoffs. You aren't keeping it close with good teams. You're stuck with a quarterback that I don't know if people really believe in. I don't know if people in the building really believe in him. Like, Jalen Waddles seems like he's coasting off his first 2 years.
Random Jalen Waddle shot, but I'm with it.
Yeah. Devon Achane's great in fantasy. It's great in PPR.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah, I don't know.
like
The Dolphins are the Dolphins.
you went out and you got some old guys on defense, and they didn't do much for you. Actually, they lost you some games.
Yeah.
Jordan Poyer and Siren Neal gave the Bills a win earlier this year.
If we're being honest, we don't really give a shit about the Dolphins. Like, not like
nobody does. It's like if the only people who like them are like casuals and like international fans, and that one dude on TikTok who's always screaming, "Yeah, no, not in particular." But
no, all I'm saying is like it's tough to care about the Dolphins only because like the Chiefs, the Ravens, and the Bills exist. Like, if we're being honest, like, I mean, we care about the Bengals because they've beaten the Chiefs and because, like, but the Bengals are kind of the same. Like, they don't, like, neither of those teams have it's all hope. Like, it's not real. Like,
yeah,
none of us really believe the Bengals are going to beat the Chiefs as currently constructed. We're going to beat the Chiefs and the Bills in succession, or the Chiefs and the Ravens in succession. So
but
why talk about them?
Even if you like. In the AFC, barring any injuries or crazy runs or Cam Ward being the next Tom Brady, like
the AFC's not wide open, is what I'm saying. Like,
yeah,
like every team is fighting for that fourth divisional spot based on what we've seen over recent years. Every team's fighting for that fourth divisional spot. It doesn't really matter who it is, but they keep fighting for it.
Yeah, I mean, even that divisional spot. I mean, it seems like the Texans had that.
No, I mean in the divisional round.
Oh yeah,
like the Chiefs are gonna be there. The Bills are gonna be there. The Ravens
even then,
are gonna
it
be
seems
there.
like the Texans are got.
And then somebody else.
It might be the Bengals if they figure things out. If
maybe,
but
you know what I mean. Like they were one of the worst defenses in the league last year. They have no money.
Yeah, but like
they just franchise tag. Why will they get better?
I mean, their defense turned elite overnight in that Super Bowl run.
But they were like average.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not saying it's possible, but like, if I'm looking at teams in the AFC, like if I had to pick who would go to a Super Bowl next, the Texans, the Bengals, I'd probably pick the Bengals.
Really? You think? I don't think.
I don't know.
I don't think.
Have we ever gotten a full year? Oh, this is our full year at Lamar and Burrow both healthy.
Yeah, I don't think so. I don't.
But like if
the Steelers regress, maybe. Why would they be worse next year because they lost Russell Wilson? You think?
You think Russell Wilson or the Steelers can get better?
No, but they don't have to. They were good enough this year to beat the Bengals. If the Bengals stay the same and the Steelers stay the same, the Bengals still end up in the playoffs. And the Steelers go home.
The Steelers in the playoffs.
No, if the Bengals stay the same and the Steelers stay the same.
No, I hear that. I guess where I'm at is for the next 5 or so years, I really don't see anyone going to the Super Bowl in the AFC other than Lamar, Allen, Mahomes, maybe Burrow, maybe Stroud.
Yeah, it'd be tough.
Barring
Herbert,
some crazy run.
Throw Herbert in there. Genuinely. I mean, it's Jim Harbaugh. It's Jim Harbaugh. You have to throw in the next 5 years. You have to throw in Jim Harbaugh. No, that's ridiculous. Why Herbert over Stroud?
Division.
Fine, but
and Stroud's won several playoff games, or 2, I guess, multiple. But
yeah, I hear you, but
we've seen some ugly ones from Herbert.
Yeah, so
and they don't have a ton of money. They don't have a ton of draft capital.
They're gonna get more money soon. Pretty soon, all those big terrible contracts are up.
Yeah, but Jim Harbaugh's not a crazy spender.
Yeah,
like he's gonna build his own. Herbert's a good quarterback.
Did you say they overachieved this year? Do you think they would be as good as they were?
They finished around as they did what I expected them to do. Maybe
10-7 in a wild card loss.
Maybe they underachieved.
You expected more from this roster?
They were favorites against Houston, no? Or expected to, a lot of people had them winning.
Yeah, but that's because of what they've seen up until that point. That wasn't. I'm talking about before the year. Did you think they would go 10-7?
I think I had them making a wild card spot.
Okay, I think most of America thought this is maybe like a 7-10, 8-9, maybe 9-8 team. Do you think that's fair? Do you think that's an accurate
Well, there weren't a
representation?
lot of other wild card options. Who were people talking about? The Jags,
I'm not
the Bengals.
the Jets.
Yeah,
Let's
yeah.
be
No,
honest.
people,
Most of America had the Jets
yeah,
going to the playoffs before the or the
yeah.
bank or
They had better
the
odds.
Jets, the Bengals, and the Dolphins all probably open this year with better odds
I
to
think they
make
all
the
did.
playoffs than the Chargers.
Yeah,
Say what you want, but they overachieved. If
but
they overachieve next year again, if they can
yeah,
consistently overachieve, there's no reason why they
yeah.
can't make
No,
the Super
there
Bowl.
was more preseason hype around those teams. Um, I mean, part of it's easier for me to say being a Bills fan. I never really believed in the Jets or the Dolphins, but that might be because I'm a Bills fan. But is it more so with those three teams? Were they wildly underachieving, and that's what allowed the Chargers to do well? Or I mean, the Chargers played a little better than I thought they would, but like those teams also, the Jets were a colossal disappointment,
I
right?
agree.
The
I
Bengals
agree.
were a colossal disappointment,
I
unless
I don't
unless
agree.
you're in terms of getting the best out of your players.
I don't agree with that.
You don't think they're a disappointment?
They were a disappointment. Colossal. I think if we were being
Maybe,
honest with
yeah,
ourselves, I think we got a little caught up in the Joe Burrow. I think if we were like as good as he is, 3, 4 players can't win you.
yeah,
I can't make you the playoffs. Like if we were being honest, looking at the roster as a whole, I think we would have been.
yeah. But the defense didn't look. We didn't know the defense would be this bad.
I think we maybe should have.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
but then and then was the other
Tua got hurt. Tua
Tua
got
got
hurt,
hurt, and
which we maybe could have banked on. Maybe you know
yeah. I mean,
we had proof at least.
yeah, we people forgot he was concussion prone.
Not like there was some world beater before he got hurt or after
Yeah,
he got hurt either. Like that's what I'm saying. Like
yeah.
What's the difference between the Chargers and all those other teams?
They
Great
mildly
coaching.
exceeded.
No,
Yeah,
no, great coaching. They have great coaching. Whereas all those other teams, the Chargers have a worse roster than the Jets. This going into this year, you would have believed that, right?
yeah.
The Chargers
No,
have a worse roster than the Dolphins. Going into this year, you would have believed that.
I don't know if coaching's what the point. I mean, maybe
What's the other
no. It's
factor?
from going from Staley to Harbaugh as a jump. Yeah, but like, are you? I don't think. I'm not gonna sit here and tell you. I think Zach Taylor's a terrible coach.
No, me neither.
Or
But is he better than Jim Harbaugh?
No.
He's noticeably worse.
Yeah, I mean, maybe also the thing they need to overcome. They need to get Herbert some weapons. They need to bolster the interior line.
Mm-hmm.
You probably need to upgrade quarterback.
Here's what I'm saying. They had the weakest roster of any team, maybe in the entire postseason. I think so, maybe.
Yeah.
And I don't think it was super close. Like, the Broncos didn't have a great roster maybe going into the year, but I think maybe we were underestimating some of their players. Like, I can reasonably get myself there. I can't say anything about the Chargers. Like, we weren't underestimating Ladd McConkey.
Yeah.
You know, we weren't underestimating
I don't
Rashawn
think
Slater.
they're in the same ballpark though. I think it's the Broncos.
You think?
Is the Steelers.
The same ballpark as the Broncos? What player do the Chargers have that's as good as Pat Surtain? Or even in sniffing distance?
Yeah, but
even going into this
I mean,
year,
the Chargers were the better team. They beat them twice this year.
I'm not saying they weren't the better team. I'm saying which team
had
the better roster.
Yeah,
if we're being honest,
how are they going to improve this roster?
I'm not saying that they. And look, you can draft well. You can find some hidden gems in free agency.
Yeah.
There's ways to improve the roster. I don't think it's going to be a much improved roster next year. I'm just saying. I think they significantly overachieved, and if they continue to, and the only way you can really do that effectively year in and year out is coaching. And if Jim Harbaugh proves who we all believe him to be up until this point that he is, then there's no reason to believe that they can't do that.
Yeah, and I think it's a small sample size sport, but one glaring issue you need to look at is quarterback play and Justin Herbert within the postseason.
I hear you.
But I feel like postseason play gets better with time.
I agree with that.
Hopefully, in Lamar's case, it does.
Even Lamar though, over time he's gotten better in the postseason.
You'll see a good game and then you'll see a bad game. I mean, the Bills game.
Normally now he plays well enough to win.
Yeah.
You couldn't always say that. Over the past 2 years, in
Yeah.
pretty much every game he's played, he hasn't lost the team the game, and he's played well enough to win. He didn't lose his team the game against the Chiefs. He didn't lose them the game.
Yeah.
He didn't win it for them, but he didn't lose them the game. And
He didn't lose it for the game, but like it would have been a lot closer
if he played as well as he normally does.
If it wasn't for the turnover. But with the Bills game, you could make a very real argument he lost them that game.
I don't think so.
Well, just from they lost by 2.
Yeah.
He fumbled in the Bills' territory.
You could say that about Mark Andrews too. You say Mark Andrews lost.
But he had 2 costly
turnovers. Just as easily.
Yeah, but he had 2 costly turnovers and they lost by 2 points. I think I don't think he played. I think he played fairly well, better than people would give him credit for. But without those 2 turnovers, they probably win that game.
I don't think that's fair.
How's that not fair?
Because I think if you can point to another player and say that they lost the
game I don't think
just as much or even more, then you can't say he lost the game.
I don't think he. I guess maybe it wasn't just him, but his play definitely contributed to it. And
I'm not saying he didn't. Every time a quarterback loses a game, their play contributes in some way, shape, or form.
I think outside of those 2 plays, he had a good game, if not a very good game. But those are 2 ugly plays.
I'm not absolving him of those plays. Yeah. I'm just saying, from a factual standpoint, he played well enough to win. Like, if Mark Andrews doesn't fumble or drop the pass, if everything goes as it's supposed to go, I guess that's what I'm trying to say. If everything goes, because Mark Andrews isn't supposed to fumble.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying if some third receiver drops a pass.
Yeah.
Then that's on. Then I'm not absolving you of that.
Their best pass catcher in the game.
He's their best tight end.
He's their best pass catcher in that game.
That's what I'm saying. Like it's not supposed to happen. Zay Flowers dropping the ball or getting flagged for taunting.
Yeah.
That's not supposed to happen from your number 1 receiver. Mm-mm. So when I say he didn't lose in the game, what I mean to say is like if everybody else did what they were supposed to do, what we expected them to do, and he would have won the game, then you can't say he lost the game.
Yeah,
that's where I'm at with that.
Yeah, no, I get it from that perspective.
That's what I mean to say.
You could say the same thing about Mark Andrews. You could say the same thing about him. Like Mark Andrews catches the pass, obviously goes to OT. They had the momentum.
Yeah.
If Mark Andrews doesn't fumble, maybe they win. I don't know. The turnover was a very ugly interception. The interception was ugly. I think the fumble, I don't know where I'm at with that in the sense of it was a bad snap, and he dropped the snap. He tried to do too much and got fumbled. The smarter play would be to just dive on the ground, but most of these quarterbacks don't do that. Like Allen won't do that. Mahomes won't do that. They'll try to make a play out of it.
Yeah,
he's trying to be a hero, and most times he is. So I won't really hold that against him.
Yeah, I'm not trying to absolve him of those plays.
Yeah,
they were bad plays.
I guess where I'm at with what I'm saying with that is, with you take away those 2 plays, you could win. But the same thing with Mark Andrews, you take away those 3 plays because he had 2 big drops and the fumble, they probably win.
Yeah,
but I guess where I'm at is, I mean, yeah, I guess, but that separates him in the postseason from Allen and Mahomes for the most part. I mean, we will occasionally see a stinker out of Mahomes like we did the other week, but for the most part, Mahomes has been
really never.
Yeah,
it's that in the Bucs game. In the Bucs game, we all saw it. It wasn't his fault. He wasn't playing bad.
Yeah, no, but like
the Eagles, he was playing
bad. Why Mahomes is the clear number 1 is because he's the best quarterback in the postseason.
Yeah.
And I guess what I'm trying to say is those 2 mistakes we saw from Lamar, we very rarely see from Allen or Mahomes in the playoffs.
Yeah, I got no problem with that. I mean, I don't.
But
I think that's a much larger conversation.
Yeah.
And I don't really want to go all there.
Yeah.
That's when you get into stuff like
I don't even know how we got into
this. Schemes. I mean, either. No, and it's a good conversation. I don't mind it. But I mean, like going to that place would lead you to a whole other rabbit hole of things we could talk about. But I don't even want to go there.